What's going on, YouTube? If you have to watch one video, please let it be this one. I am going to explain some things that we went over yesterday in our video, in our predictions, how we knew the CPI sell-off was coming. Check out some of these past videos, guys. Please check them out. I will post and always tag everybody on X for these YouTube videos and a premium Discord. If you want to trade with us, it's in the description. Check it out. All right, this video right here is posted yesterday. I always try to post my prior videos in the description. If you missed one, go back, listen. We'll go here, right? So just a couple little key indicators there. We're at all-time highs, FOMO moving as expected, and we won't really see anything else besides CPI that's going to be a precursor for hopefully a different directional move. And I don't think it's going to happen until after we get that CPI data, because Powell, obviously, we had the slow jam cruising up here. Last but not least, I will touch on the 666. Yeah. So little tiny bits of information like this in many videos. I'm not going to take up this video on the last, but please pay attention because we were ready for this. Let's get to the X, right? The free calls, the X calls, the everything calls. Let's get this damn window back up here. There we go. So this morning I posted out, I'm not going to tell you exactly, guys, why I can't give away these systems, but I said short levels on NQ today. Will CPI be the catalyst for downside? Question mark. That was obviously being facetious, as we've already been calling this in the last 3 YouTube videos. Please check these out. The back test of the blue anchors was something I kept bringing up, and we weren't going to get a big psychological catalyst until CPI. Powell was going to pump it up. We're going to pump. CPI was going to push, and then we're going to drop, right? So I gave you the short targets for today that I had in my premium group, and we had some that are even lower, even better. Cluster gaps, we're going to get into everything today as we backtest and say. So before the CPI, we hit 2 of our short targets, as I reiterated and posted. A little P&L there, and came back to the initial call. And I said, we're going to get this downside, to fill the last bits and pieces, it was going to be after CPI, and we were going to have a big continuation, but not before we needed a long. So I gave you guys a free long right here. NQ, no work on this one. We actually called it into the premium chat. If you were subscribed to me and you watch us trade live every single morning, you would know that we were going to go to the green box on SPY and dip down. That was exactly the plan that we gave to our premium members, right? Now we're scrolling up here for the last remainder of the day. Actually, I'm going to go back to the anchors real quick. We did talk about these blue anchors and our predictions level, and I said this again and again and again. These blue anchors for the last 5 days have been trying to catch up, and these will be back tested at some point. We just need a catalyst. What better psychological catalyst for the markets to manipulate retail traders than to push this up for 2 days during Powell, pop it in pre-market CPI, blow everybody out of the water, and then dump? It's so, I hate the word easy, but man, that psychological catalyst, no better. So 4 hours ago, I called those short moves. This was way before 6 in the morning Central. Those short targets. He says it's way before CPI, way before everything. I have the keys to the market to see these things play out a huge amount of time. The CPI pop, I said all white levels on deck for short on SPY. So I handed you guys SPY shorts right here, 558.11, 558.59, 559.38. All of these we're going to fill today after we popped up, hit our green zone I just showed you for a long, and it was going to come back down to here and then obviously go lower, right? I wanted a little bit of a bounce maybe to get back in short. Doesn't matter to me though. I knew where it was going. So to the final little bit there, and it's being a little cocky. I said, I see you guys at 20,858 after the CPI pop. And then even on X, I think the last one I said, here's the perfect pop, and we're all set for the CPI sell. Where is it? Aggressive weakness. All the freebies. All levels short on deck, looking good on the CPI sell-off right here. So this call right here, well, we were just on it. All white levels are on deck for the short, looking good on my CPI sell-off call. And that was the continuation, because before this even happened, I called that the CPI was going to pop and sell off, okay? So let's get into it. Let's get into it. We had some amazing sells. Now, of course, Qs did not hit the green zone, but we had called that in our premium chat. We knew that was coming. I said SPY would hit the green zone and then sell back off. Let's look at SPY here on those predictions way before they happen, hours before they happened. Here we are. So we popped into the green zone perfectly and lost it. And this is another really big indicator that I said it was going to potentially not retrace today into our normal Fibonacci boxes. If you follow me and us or trade with us live, you know that I like to high-low these boxes for the pre-market. and algorithms that we get after hours, and then generally play the golden pocket, which is halfway, 50% through the Fibonacci's, right? So I said we're going to leave the data open here and most likely just panic out because the psychology and the way we're set up for the Powell CPI, nothing else made sense. So I thought for sure we'd come all the way back down, look at the SPY's bounce points as we come from the golden pocket. So downside point, this is CPI box, comes up to the golden pocket, dump, level 1, 1618, level 2, 2618, 557. All the short targets I gave you guys are free on X and above right here. These are cluster gaps. Okay, these are very rare. Do we get multi gaps in the 1 minute? It only comes from scam force ups on the market, the manipulation of volume and the ending of 1 minute candles on specific volume. I'm not going to get into how I can predict these back tests and clusters, but man, do I want to teach you guys. Join up. This is huge. So right here are all 1 minute gaps. I'll give you those freebies right there. 1 minute gaps. Okay. And as we had this epic run up for all these 1 minute gaps that we left open, there's a very high percent chance that we're going to come back down and fill these. And what better chances to obviously pop CPI up super big in pre-market, scam all the shorts, right? Anybody that bought puts at the end of the day, they're freaking out. Maybe they're covering because you can trade options in pre-market with ES and NQ, so on and so forth, and go. Well, they did the secondary scam right here at the open, popped at the open because we were long biased at the open right here. So anything above our fib box, this is the bottom, to the golden pocket, to the dump, right? That cluster gap is a formation of multiple gaps in a single direction. So obviously down is the direction look, and all of these gaps needed to be filled. We even had one at NQ, and if you watched the last YouTube video, I got really excited because we found it live. So if we go back to the QQQ live here, I put this one up and I said, this one, you know, keep this in mind. And if you watched our last video, I'll put the link in the description, of course. I said, this is where NQ will retrace back to, or QQQ rather. And that's where I got some of my NQ targets. The other are algorithmic based, and I understand the language of algorithms. So I can't really get into it too much here. So last but not least, the anchor VWAPs. Okay, remember these. We were talking for days and days and days saying that these anchors needed to be back tested and we were going to get a big sell. Why is that? Because top down anchors do not get manipulated this bad for no pullbacks. And a top down anchor is something where we put anchors on the bottom or top of candles, right? So here you see a top anchor here, you see a bottom anchor here. We're using bottom anchors and some top ones on a different chart for the Qs, and we needed back tests on these. So when it ran away from our blue VWAPs we've been bitching about for 5 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, into day 6, we seen the dump and we were going to back test blue VWAPs. These are all posts that I've made on X and why we posted them, and we try to break them down on YouTube on why we post these trades. And this one is just a very, very, very clean trade, right? It was just so nice. Now, we'll bring up one other point here. We got the volatility index. So look at the VIX here, okay? VIX was a tall tail sign again this morning that this was going to happen. The VIX left us with a beautiful gap down because of obviously that pop on CPI. So what did it do? It created an intra pre-market gap here. And I love gaps. Gaps are one of the #1 things I used to trade. And as we seen the VIX higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, people were buying insurance during pre-market, and we were in a standard deviation downtrend for quite some time. But now, again, we swapped to the upside, and what do we know about the +2, -2, and likewise with the 1? We generally don't stay too far out of it. So look where the algo points hit on standard deviation. This is a 5-day standard deviation, and these are the levels right here: -2 in the green, -1 in the yellow, 0, you guessed it, +1 on the yellow because it's in the positive top, and +2. So we left this gap here, and the volatility index was already gaining insurance, high, low, high, high, and trend. I don't care what people say. You can't break down. You can't use technical analysis on the VIX. Yes, you can. You're just bad. Trust me. Now you come into this right here, algo candle. What do I like to do with fibs? High low box, free lesson. I'll even expose myself even more and give you some freebies here. Not only do we have to fill this beautiful gap, we were left with an intraday gap in holding a gold level. A gold level to me is something that has a very large historic support and resistance scale to it. It is massive, okay? So when a price level hits $12.51 on the VIX, it is something to watch for. Very big over under. Notice the consolidation and over under breaks that we have been getting. Gap, 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 all right by $12.50. So we are accumulating at a super important level. Okay, another one back here, gap. But still, now, Fibonacci game. Let me put you guys onto a 5-minute high-low. Same thing for a blip of an algo on VIX. It will help you with price targeting. So this chart right here, because it is the volatility index, and when VIX goes up, market goes down, market goes down, VIX, or market goes up, VIX goes down. You see this fib box that we just did the high-low 5-minute on, right? What did we see? Golden pocket tag popped up, 1618, comes back down to the 100 fib like always, pushes back up through the 1618. Next target would be 1331 and 2618. Apparently you can't do technical analysis on VIX though, it doesn't work. So you know, ignore that completely. So we filled the gap here completely perfect. We have held the golden pocket. We controlled higher low, higher high trend, and we are still targeting 1331 and higher and continuing the downside. We've been calling for this for quite some time. We said it was going to happen after CPI. All the videos are there. Check the last 3 or 4 YouTube videos, guys. We have not missed. So as this comes up for the day, and as we put together the pieces of the pie here, let's talk about the long term. Okay. So long term here, we'll go to the weekly quick. We are very extended from some monster amounts of time, or monster amounts of data. Where's my default? There we go. It might be a little cleaner. I have a test one up. Might have been on SPY. We'll keep it on the messy default. So I do want you to keep in mind that Q's down here. And I'll give this one another freebie here. Usually I don't give these too much. Let me just I'll do another one. Let me just rebuild this one real quick. This is a weekly gap, okay? There is no price action in the high and continuing low of the weeks prior to this. This is my pullback target and the long-term macro short version if we get the confirmation continuation. Look how many times in the yearly, how often do you see CPI over hot, right? Or oversold, hot or cold? How many times in the course of these 3 years? Hot CPI, or CPI, RSI, hot RSI, hot RSI. Pulled back down, pull back down. Well, right? I know it's a relative strength index. It's a very easy indicator. It's plain and simple, but I'm stacking these catalysts, okay? So bear with me. So I get it. It's easy, right? Overcool, oversold, one lower low because the market loves to do lower lows before she retraces. Macro, couple months of upside there. This is a weekly chart, okay? So if you back up a little bit, you can even go to the all-time. It's very rare to see the weekly get hot and cold. So I start to get aggressive on the counter move, on the counter trend move when the RSI comes. MACD as well. MACD is starting to conk out here just a little bit higher. We're getting a little bit of a triple top. Same with the RSI, okay? And now we have a very viable target. I'm going to call 440 area right now on QQQ if we get the continuation of confirmation short from this breakdown red. What's that going to look like? Well, it looks like earnings is going to hit. We're going to start to see some jolts fall apart here, right? And then we're just going to get a beautiful panic down near that 100 EMA 200, and then potentially another full flush down. And this is way later on. I'm going to wait on that one. I'm going to talk about that one in a different video. Way farther down, and I have some projections for into 25 and 26 that we're going to go back long. Don't get me wrong. But in this short term, we're going down to 440, okay? I think we got about 60 points here that we can get back down here. Let's see what it forms into next week and kicking off the earnings. But this is where we're going to need to end up, 440, okay? So if any of these videos give you some value, my friends, I narrate these trades every single day live that we sack. I know it's just a little recap on YouTube, and I don't give you all the biscuits because I got to save a lot of stuff for my premium members. But if you want to trade with us, link is in the description from Boardroom Trading. If you want to follow me on X, do so. We have promo codes also for Apex Trading, Top Step Trading. We are partners with both. Good companies on both. Reach out, send me a message on X. We'll be hosting a freebie Saturday, the 20th. So mark it down your calendar, July to the 20th, Saturday. I have a hard time speaking always. I'm going to do a free Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Central webinar on Fibonacci questions and answers. So mark your calendar. I'll mention this obviously in a couple other videos throughout the weeks, but I'll post it on the pin on X. But the 20th, 7/20 of this month, I'm going to go to a free webinar. Come join us live on YouTube. We'll go over a bunch of stuff. I'll answer any questions I can possibly do for you guys about the systems we use and hand out a free discount code, right? Maybe even a free membership if we get enough people. Let's say if we get 100 plus people in there, we'll hand out a free month. Okay. So if that sounds good, you want to trade with us to do any of the sorts that we just mentioned, give us a follow, give us a try, like, comment, share, all the good stuff. And I do look through a lot of the comments here. You guys leave a comment and question. I'll make a video on it, even if it's a short. Okay. You guys take care. Trade safe. We'll catch you on the next.